To be clear, these are men who think they're women.
These are women. I'm happy to educate you on
But these are men.
on trans
and so
issues.
what we've identified is that there's mental health issues with that belief system.
I'd like to turn to General
are detrimental to readiness, and that's.
The Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is on the spot over his policy excluding transgender service members, with Congresswoman Sara of California arguing the move directly harms military readiness.
Thank you. Gentleman yields back. Chair now recognizes a gentlelady from California, Ms. Jacobs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to all of our witnesses for being here. Secretary Hegseth, as you probably know, today is National Women's Veterans Day, and in your confirmation hearing and in subsequent conversations, you've said, and I'm quoting you now, "Women in our military have and continue to make amazing contributions across all aspects of our battlefield, and that women were some of the best soldiers you served with." Do you still stand by those statements?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. As you probably know, I represent San Diego, the biggest military community in the country, so I meet with countless service members all the time. And with your focus on emphasis and on merit and standards, I wanted to tell you about 3 incredible women in our military. So the first woman is a major responsible for advanced collective warfighting training. Her officer evaluation report rates her as most qualified. And some of the comments included are, and I'm quoting now, "She lives the Army values and demonstrates the warrior ethos daily. She rates within the top 5% of officers I've encountered in 18 years of military service." The second woman is an aviator with a record of over 50 combat missions, including deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan. 2 quotes from her most recent fitness report in April include, quoting again, "People excel under her leadership, and she has my strongest possible recommendation for promotion." The third woman is an instructor for an Army ROTC battalion. According to her evaluation report, her overall performance was rated at far exceeds standards, and the comments include, "She is undoubtedly within the top 5% of non-commissioned officers I've worked with in my 22 years of service." Given their stellar qualifications and accomplishments and their record of surpassing standards, I assume that you agree that the Pentagon and the services should do everything they can to retain women like these, correct?
I would commend the major, the aviator, and the instructor for their service.
Great. I'm glad you agree, because I also believe we should be recruiting and retaining the very best and brightest in our country to serve in the military. And yet, you are actually kicking out these 3 highly qualified service members solely because of their identity. These are trans women. And you are using the very same arguments that have been used against desegregating the military or allowing women to serve or allowing gay people to serve. And in all those cases, those arguments were wrong. So I think it's clear that this is actually not about standards or, and I'm quoting you again, "an equal, unwavering, gender-neutral, merit-based system," because if it were, you would be keeping these women in. Instead, you are the one injecting culture wars into the military, and it's at the detriment of our military readiness and national security. Now, General Kane, I'd like to turn to you.
So to be clear, these are men who think they're women.
These are women. I'm happy to educate you on
But these are men.
on trans
and so
issues at another
what we've
time.
identified is that there's mental health issues with that belief system.
I'd like to turn to General
are detrimental to readiness, and that's the determination that we've made and that we stand behind. Gender dysphoria.
And so you don't trust your commanding officers to be able to evaluate the people under them to decide if that were true, wouldn't that show up in their fit reps? And yet these fit reps are from the last 3 months, and all of their commanding officers say that they exceed standards. I'm turning to General Kane now. General Kane, I'd like to touch on something you said yesterday before the Senate Appropriations Committee. When asked whether the United States is under a foreign invasion, you said, "At this point in time, I don't see any foreign state-sponsored folks invading." Despite that testimony, 2,000 National Guard troops have been federalized and deployed to Los Angeles, and 700 Marines from my community of Southern California are now on the ground there as well. And on Tuesday, President Trump, flanked by hundreds of uniformed troops, said, "They are there," said, "This is the reason they are there. They are there," I'm quoting now, "Generations of Army heroes did not shed their blood on distant shores only to watch our country be destroyed by an invasion." General, have you personally informed the President that according to your own assessment, there is no invasion?
Ma'am,
First, the definition of an invasion, whether or not that's a policy, that's really a policy decision. And, from a military-only perspective, I, stand by what I said yesterday. But, my advice to the president in any particular matter from a security standpoint, or for the secretary for that matter, I keep that between them.
I understand that, but the highest-ranking military advisor in the country does not believe there is an invasion, and yet the President of the United States is federalizing the National Guard and
Gentlelady's time's expired.
in the name of an...
Gentlelady's time's expired.
Speaking on National Women's Veterans Day, Jacobs reminded Hegseth of his own past praise for women in uniform, forcing him to reaffirm that female soldiers have been among the best he ever served with. Then she introduced 3 real service members, a major, an aviator, and an instructor, all decorated, all rated in the top 5% by their commanding officers, and all now facing removal from the military because they are transgender women. Jacobs argued this contradiction exposes the heart of the debate. The Pentagon says it wants a merit-based force, yet highly qualified troops are being dismissed for identity rather than performance. She compared the current rhetoric to the same arguments once used against desegregation, against allowing women in combat, and against gay Americans serving openly. Each time, she said, those fears were proven wrong, and the military became stronger by being more inclusive. Hegseth responded that the policy is about mental health and readiness, but Jacobs pushed back, noting that recent evaluations show these service members exceed standards. The hearing also broadened into questions about the use of troops at home. General Kane confirmed he does not view the situation at the border as a foreign invasion, contradicting President Trump's language, while National Guard units are being federalized in California. The moment highlighted a growing divide between political messaging and military assessment. For families in San Diego, the largest military community in America, these decisions are not culture wars, but careers, benefits, and lives. If you value reporting that connects policy to real people and real consequences, make sure to subscribe and stay with us.